Graphics Builder functions. To explain the most important features of the Graphics Builder, we create a plant graphic from scratch, as an example. In the properties you can see the name of the graphic. For efficient working, it's possible to arrange the working area. For example, hiding and showing the panel. In the panel, we have the possibility to open several tools. For example, click on the three dots and select Equipments. Here we have our building structure and our plants. To add a new one, just click on the points and add. You also could now click on Float, and the window can be navigated over the screen. Click on Dock, and it's docked again here on the panel. You can also just collapse or delete panels for more efficient engineering. Under the tool components, we see lots of graphical elements like coils, dampers, ducts, and, further down, Siemens-specific 2D air elements, or even Siemens-specific 2D plus air elements, as well as some animated elements and elements for room automation. Under Menu, you can find options for saving the graphic, Save or Save As, and all the elements for graphical engineering, which are also available here on the toolbar as shortcuts. Now, let's start drawing an air handling unit graphic. First, we would need some ductwork, so we go to the section of the ducts, and just drag and drop the element to the canvas. It's possible to stretch the element just with the mouse in either direction, or to reduce it. Another possibility would be to open the properties for these elements and adjust the position and the size. With copy and paste, the copy is placed on top of the original one, so you have to move it around. To align the ducts, just select both elements, right mouse click, Align, Left, for example. With this small icon, we can select the snapping tool. The blue dot indicates where the next element will be placed. In this example, on the left side, and here, on the right side. So, if you want to add there another piece of duct, just click on the origin element, and select the duct you want to add there. Now, let's do a copy of this. You could either use the menu command, or Ctrl-C, and Ctrl-V from your keyboard. Again, drag the element. If it's now in a wrong direction, you can just click on these icons, and turn the element around. Let's continue with the ductwork. To add one more duct, select the element, and drag it until it fits to the other duct. Of course, it's also possible to copy several elements, like these two ducts. Copy and paste, and then drag it to the other place. When the ductwork is done, let's add a fan. So we go here to Siemens 2D Plus Animation, drag the fan into our graphic, and align it. Next step would be to bind an element to this fan. To do so, select from the panel bar, Equipments, and go to the required data point, which is, in our example, Air Handling Unit, Supply Air Fan, and the command. Drag and drop the element to the fan symbol. Next step would be now to add a smart label. We can drag and drop it from the components, and then bind from the equipment, as we did already for the fan. Or, the most efficient way is to directly drag and drop the element into the canvas to get automatically a bound smart label. Of course, it's possible to adjust the form of this smart label. Right mouse click, Tools, Smart Label Style. And, for example, change it to Value Only. We can also edit the size and the position if required. Now, let's check the binding properties of these elements. Right mouse click on the element, Tools, and View Bindings. As we can see, it is showed an ID binding, which is unique to the Supply Air Fan, and the same for the Smart Label. If we want to use these elements also for other graphics, we need to relativize it. So, right mouse click, Tools, and Relativize. We now can select which form of relativize we want to use. By default, once the element is placed on the graphic, this is unique for that element, and it is absolute bound by point ID. To relativize it, we have three different possibilities: by navname, which are properties more based to hierarchies; by tags, which are tags assigned to each element in the configuration; and by short names. The relativization by tag is more efficient for classic devices elements, and not for next-gen controllers like PXE4, 5 and 7. The relativization by short name is instead more optimized for next-gen devices, and valid also as well for classic devices. So, we strongly recommend to relativize by short name. Check the binding again, and we now see it's bound relative by short name. Now, we can add the exhaust air fan into our graphic. Despite it would be easier to copy and paste the elements we have already, and then change the binding, this operation is strongly not recommended for elements already bound to data points. This because it may cause duplication of bindings for the same element, and it may end up into graphic corruption. For that reason, we recommend to take new elements from the component or equipment menu, avoiding the copy and paste solution, which is instead recommended only for simple graphic component, not bound to any data point. So, go to Components, select the air fan symbol, and bind the exhaust air fan from Equipments. As we did before, we add also the related smart label. The fan is now facing the wrong direction, so we need to turn it. Select the element, click on the first icon, and select the right fan direction. To check the binding, right mouse click, Tools, View Binding. It's again unique, and we want to relativize it. The most efficient way is to take advantage of the multiple selection, by selecting all the elements to be bound, and do the binding in one shot. It would also be possible to add status indicators. So, let's go to Components, and select Status Indicator. Drag and drop to the graphic. In our example, we want to bind the fault of the fan to this status indicator. So back to Equipments, Supply Air Fan and Fault. Drag and drop it to the symbol. Right mouse click, and Status Indicator. Now, we have to define which symbol should be shown on which state of this element. First, we want to use the value as an indicator. So confirm with OK. Next is to select an icon if the data point is in alarm. So, click on the field and browse for the required icon. In our example, we would like to use this alarm bell. Select an icon for the normal value, and, if required, also for the null stage. Confirm with OK. Here as well, we need to relativize. If you want to check how the graphic is looking like, you can use the preview, but, before to do that, we need to save the graphic. The preview shows the graphic as it would be in runtime system, but it shows all the element present in the graphic. In runtime, the system will show of course only the data points really available. Now, let's check in the runtime system. So, we first need to activate the graphic from Tools, Enable Disable Graphics. Then, open the graphic. And check if all required elements are available in the graphic.